welcome to the Win or Die Tournament League podcast. This is MikeWrecka. I'm your host, and I'm here with Ride for Life, my co-host.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
And we're going to really talk about the upcoming Small Conquest tournament we have. We have 16 teams ready to battle it out for supremacy here at Win or Die. And we're really looking forward to it. We're going to break down each team, and then we're going to break down the matchups.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great time. We have a lot of great teams and a lot of great potential.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. We're going to go through the teams here, and let's start off with six-star generals.
Six-star generals, man, they have built quite a reputation on themselves. They made the name for themselves going around, really building up some controversy and, starting a little bit of problems with certain teams. And, they definitely threw it out there, though, started playing and claiming they were the best. And they, had a little bit of hiccup, but it's glad to see that they're back in action.
Yeah, six-star generals, I always heard about them, and they had a big name for themselves, and they hyped themselves up a lot. I thought they are the best, or if not one of the best platoons out there, just based on reputation more than anything else. And I know that they went ahead and scrimmaged PT in a very highly publicized match that was, everyone watched, and PT won that match. So then, you didn't really hear much from six-star generals after that. At least I didn't. They went on a little bit of a hiatus, it seems. Maybe they went back to another league that, maybe was a little to the side. But, they're here. They're back. They're in Win or Die. They're going to be facing off against a lot of competition here that they haven't played before, and it's definitely going to be interesting.
I definitely have to agree with you there. It's going to be good to see what they have to offer.
All right, we have N7 Delta Alliance.
This is a team I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on. I mean, I've definitely heard of them. I've definitely seen them around here and there, but I really can't pinpoint what exactly they have as far as history in the competitive scene. So it's going to be interesting for me to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, like what I know about them is that everyone on our Discord channel just seems to hate them. They're in the toxic chat. People are just trashing them all day. Lakers Nation, a few of the others. And, I really don't know where the animosity stems from, but I know that they are definitely not well liked here by a lot of the teams in Win or Die.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that they have got down pat is the shit talking.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see now if they can back it up. And, definitely looking forward to that. Next team is Evolution Esports, Eevee.
Eevee is going to be quite a interesting team to keep an eye on because I know a lot of their players have experience in playing in the competitive scene in the past. I know that they have good footing, good ground, and are going to definitely bring out the best in whoever they face.
Yeah, I mean, we're very familiar with half of Eevee because, Eevee is the merger of DF and IP. And, here at Win or Die, DF has won every tournament they entered. I believe they won two or three of our first tournaments. So, a lot of their players like Kryptonic Wookie, Thin Mint, Scuba Steve, Jets fan, and a whole bunch of others from DF I'm personally very familiar with. But I believe this is their first competitive match after the merger has taken place. So I'm definitely interested to see if it's made them stronger or if they've fallen off a little because maybe they're not as cohesive as they once were.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they have a chance to prove themselves and make a name for themselves once again, especially coming with a name like them.
Okay, next up we have the Devil's Regime, which is, the recent merger of the regime and the Blue Devils.
Oh yeah, the regime. Blue Devils and regime, man. The regime has made a reputation. I've never not seen at least 6 or 7 of them in a match at a time, pub stacking, just bringing the heat, having fun, calling out shit, just showing a good time. So with this merger, it's bringing in some new players into the atmosphere, and I think that they're going to have a lot to offer. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to hold their ground.
Yeah, when I first heard about the merger, I was speaking to Big Papa Sean, and which that name sounds kind of funny when you actually say it out loud, but he was, I said to him, I said, well, what are you guys getting from this merger? And because from everything I've known about Blue Devils is that they're good players, but they were more of a pub team than anything else. And the regime had been picking up some steam on the competitive scene with some pretty good wins. But from what he's told me, and others have told me, is that they picked up some really good quality players from the Blue Devils, and that they're even stronger now than before. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them in action.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to see what they have to offer. I'm excited to see their gun game.
All right, next platoon is Foam, Fathers on a Mission. That's the platoon I was previously in. What do you know about them, Ride?
I mean, what do you not know about Fathers on a Mission? I mean, their name speaks for themselves. Fathers on a Mission. They are all fathers, they have daughters, they have sons, they have lives, and yet they still find time to play with each other. They still find time to have fun, and they're one of the biggest teams in the league. Whether or not they're competitive, they are one of the biggest. And, they've drawn in 400 plus members, and they're active, they're fun, they're a well-rounded group of guys, and I'm excited to see what they have to offer in Win or Die.
Yeah, I mean, when I left, they were up to 5 platoons full. So they've probably only grown since then. And, they're a great group of guys. They take the game seriously, and but not too seriously at the same time. They do it for
Right.
fun, but they also want to win. So definitely looking to see if they've gotten better since the last time I've seen them in action, which was a while ago, and going to definitely keep my eye on that matchup.
Absolutely.
And the next team we have here is Jedi.
Jedi New Order. That is the team I will be representing in this league this season. I mean, Jedi is a team that was built by PT. PT came together and they brought, some of their players and just started bringing their friends, bringing people that they enjoyed playing with, who wanted an opportunity to play on a competitive level and give them that chance to prove their worth. And Jedi is a mini PT, I guess you could say. Maybe not with the quality of, gun game and skill level as PT has, but definitely with the aspirations and, goals that they have set. Jedi is working hard at being better as a team. And what better team to look up to than PT?
Yeah, I mean, the perception is that Jedi is PT's B team.
Yep.
And that's most likely true. But that being said, these guys are playing against PT or with PT in public matches probably every day, and they're probably getting a tremendous amount of experience just from that, as much as you can get from a pub match. And they definitely have some good players going for them in this tournament. And they have you playing for them. I know that they have a kill
Got
switch.
Kill Switch. Yep. You got Con Carnage. You got there's a bunch of great players who are very active. I think it's going to really give a lot of new players the potential and chance to step up.
Definitely looking forward to seeing them in action as well. Next, we have Murder Mafia.
Who hasn't heard of Murder Mafia? I mean, they no matter where you go, which chat you see, which group you're in, you're going to see their name. I mean, they've built a reputation around themselves, both in the core and I believe in the hardcore scene is where they're more well known, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm excited to see what they have to offer. This is gonna be cool to see them fight.
Yeah, I mean, Murder Mafia is definitely everywhere. They have definitely a cool logo too. Think the guy did a great job on that. But you know, I've seen people kind of trash talk Murder Mafia, saying they're garbage, they're this, they're that. But I've played against them quite a number of times, and they are a very well run platoon. They always have very sound strategies, and I'm always very impressed when I play against them. So, I think they have a chance here to really make a name for themselves and against some of the naysayers and show that they are a good platoon and, that they definitely can hold their own weight in any tournament or league.
Yeah, I got to admit, Mike, you brought up a good point because, they are a well-rounded team. They work well as a team, and teamwork is key in this game. I mean, without teamwork, you won't be successful. And they seem to have that down pat. So I'm really interested to see how they play their strategies and what they do and work towards keeping and holding those flags.
All right, next up is Oxygen.
Oxygen, man. Oxygen's a new team, but you also got to remember they are the champs of last season, which how could you forget? They came out of nowhere, stepped up, and brought the heat. And I'm excited to see what they have to offer in this next season, especially with some heavy hitters joining in the league.
Yeah, I mean, Frontlines won our last tournament. Uh, Oxygen won our last tournament, and it was a Frontlines tournament, and definitely did it in very impressive fashion. Um, they kind of just burst onto the scene here. I think they're kind of relatively a newly formed team with a lot of old faces on it. That
Exactly.
so they have a lot of skilled players on the team. Shout out to Matt Milley. He was a contributor to our GoFundMe. So I definitely have to give him a shout out here on the podcast.
Big shout out Matt Millie.
And Savage is a very well known player, and
Yep, Savage Fugitive.
I'm expecting big things from Oxygen. Definitely, you don't win that. You win a win or die tournament unless you're an elite team, and they proved to me last tournament that they are in that category. So let's see what they do here in this tournament. Next team is Project Trojan.
Project Trojan. I mean, it's PT. What is there really to not know about them? They've built a reputation. They've made a name for themselves. They are probably one of the best teams in the league right now. Who can really stand against them? I mean, they've got great talent. They win their gunfights. They got great pilots, great tankers. It's a well-rounded team. I'm excited.
I mean, everyone knows PT is the cream of the crop. I mean, if you polled all the active players and asked them, who's the best North American competitive team, PT is going to win that ballot. Um, they definitely made quite a name for themselves, and they're bringing out all the big guns for this tournament. So it should really be interesting to see them in action again. And definitely looking forward to it. They're a
Yeah,
team
I
that
mean, you
go.
also got to remember PT is known for talking shit. They say they're the best, but that's because they are the best. I mean, until somebody has the opportunity to come and prove that they're better, they have the right to brag because they have that reputation to back them.
I mean, they definitely are very vocal on several different Discord channels, and some people might see it as trolling, some people might see it as cocky, but they're good dudes. So big shout out to Blitzkrieg, big shout out to Muni, dude made our logo for us, so definitely big shout out to him, and definitely looking forward to seeing these guys play in Win or Die. Okay, next team we have up is Shepherds of Death.
All right, so Shepherds of Death are relatively new in my books. I don't really have a whole knowledge on them. I haven't really heard of them. I've seen them around here and there, a player or two, but I've never really followed up. So I'm interested to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, they are a new team to me as well. I don't know if they've participated in other leagues or other tournaments, but I've definitely have never encountered them. But from what I understand, they are a bunch of former six-star general players. So, I'm just assuming that maybe when six-star generals went on a bit of a hiatus, a few of their dudes left and made shepherds of death. So, they're probably quality players, you'd have to assume.
Right. It'll be a good matchup to see what they have to offer, so we'll see.
All right. Next up we have VVV, Veni Vidi
Veni Vidi
Vici.
Vici. Tell you what, that name is quite interesting, but I mean, you've heard of him. VVV. Not many people pronounce the name as a whole, but they know who they are. You've seen them in other leagues. They're quite an active team. I'm excited to see who their matchup is against and to see what they have to offer. I think it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, I mean the rap on them that I've heard on the chord, that's going to become a thing now on the chord.
On the court. The
uh,
new lingo.
is that they've been in another league for a very long time and have never really ventured out of it. So they've been beating up teams in a different league, but they haven't, faced a lot of these teams we have here in win or die. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they match up against the teams we have here. They're going out of their comfort zone, so to speak, and branching out. And we're definitely happy to have them here in WOD. All right, next team up is VIP Vengeance Incorporated, which is my platoon.
Take it away for me. Tell me a little bit about you guys.
All right, so it's the platoon I created where a lot of the players from Foam came over with me, and we've also got a whole bunch of new players, and we're just starting out on the competitive scene. We started as a pub team. A lot of these guys want to get some competitive reps in. So here we are. We're in win or die. We're going to put our best foot forward. Definitely looking forward and excited about competing here. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I mean, you guys are a great bunch of dudes. You guys have your heads put well together. I think you guys are going to have a lot to offer.
All right. Next team we have here is Wham.
Wham, wham, thank you, ma'am. That's all I can think about when I hear their name. I'm excited to see what they have to offer, though. They're a fun team to face. They put up a good fight. So depending on who they face, I really think they have an opportunity to make it up over, maybe into the semifinals.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with Wham. This is their first time in win or die. Um, I'm assuming they've competed in other leagues. We're definitely happy to have them aboard here. Do we know what Wham stands for?
I don't actually. Oh, we are mighty.
Okay, that's cool. It's not
We are
terrible.
mighty. Nope.
All
I've
right.
definitely seen and heard worse. So
Yeah. So let's see how they do here. We're happy to have them aboard. Um, Now we have two teams here from South America, RZ and Team Colombia. Both teams, are new to us. They're competing in a North American tournament, so props for that. And
yep.
they're both definitely a little bit of question marks.
Yeah, I mean, South America can throw out some really good teams or some really bad teams. I mean, it's hit or miss. So just to see what they're both coming out. They're both going to put up a good effort, and we'll see what they have to offer and see if either, if not both of them, stand out and, make a name for themselves.
Yeah, I mean Team Colombia. I mean if that's like a national team, they can make some real noise in this tournament.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if they're, at all related with BF Nations or, Team Canada, Team USA, you know, Team Russia. I mean, they have global tournaments, global leagues. If they are truly Team Colombia, then boy, it's going to be a good matchup.
Absolutely. And the last team we have here is Tags.
Tags. pub dominators. That's what I know them from. Is all I really have a history on with them is pub games. They're
I
pub
mean,
stack and they have a bunch of people.
me and you were in a public server with them, not maybe a week or two ago, and there was a bunch of them, and they definitely held their own.
Oh, definitely. They know how to win their gunfights. I'll be curious to see how a lot of these players and teams react, with no aim assist. Whether or not, a lot of players don't play with aim assist, so it'll be interesting to see if any players who normally do switch off. But I definitely see a lot of potential in, them as well as all the other teams that are part of this league.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if this is their first foray into competitive or not, but they have a chance to make a name for themselves here,
Yep.
as do a lot of teams. And a lot of the first round, and are you going to advance or not? It really depends on the matchups that were picked at random by Black Vans. We've gone this far into the podcast. We haven't given a shout out yet to one of the co-owners alongside me of Win or Die, Black Vans. So big shout out to him. He randomized, rolled, and got the matchups going here. So let's go ahead and go through each matchup and let's break it down and make a prediction and see who we feel is going to win and how it's going to shake down.
All
So,
right, Mike, lead us away.
all right. So the first matchup I have here is Murder Mafia versus VVV.
This matchup's going to be good. I really think that Murder Mafia is going to have the upper hand, though, because from what I've seen and from my experience, I think that they are a well-rounded team and will be able to hold their own. The big key here will be capturing and holding those flags. So, winning your gunfights, holding those flags, holding those positions, and Murder Mafia seems to have that down pat. So, I definitely give them the vote.
Well, I mean, Murder Mafia is definitely known for their tanker, right? When you think of Murder Mafia, you definitely think of E-Ready, as
Yep.
they have good tank play. Um, VVV, I don't know. I don't know much about them. Like I said, they've been in that other league for quite some time, at which Murder Mafia is also in that other league. So I think there's a very good chance they faced off before. And just from what I know is that VVV is the more highly regarded team. So
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and go with them. That's going to be my prediction for them to win, and we'll find out how it all breaks down.
It'll be a bloodbath, that's for sure.
All right. Next matchup is Oxygen versus Jedi.
This is going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, I really, Jedi being my team, I don't want to be prejudiced, but I have a lot of confidence in us as well. But Oxygen are not a team to be taken lightly. I mean, they are the champions of last season. They have some really heavy hitters who play a big role in their team. So it's really going to come down to whether or not Jedi can win their gunfights, hold those flags, hold those positions, and see if they can overcome the winners.
Yeah, I mean, Oxygen's definitely the favorite here. They won our last tournament in impressive fashion, and I
Yep.
believe didn't they beat Jedi in that tournament?
Yes, I believe they did.
Okay, so this is a
So
rematch,
yep.
a
So we've
different
already faced off against them once.
It's a different mode. That was front lines. And I know Oxygen is not necessarily known for conquest. Front lines is their stronger suit. Um, like we said before, Jedi has, some good players like yourself and others. So it should definitely be one of the more highly contested first round matchups. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a fun matchup. I'm really looking forward to participating.
Next up is Evolution Esports versus the Devil's Regime.
This is going to be a good matchup, but as much as of a reputation as the regime has, I think that Evolution Esports has just a tad bit more experience as far as competitive level, and I think that they're going to bring the upper hand and swoop over regime.
Yeah, I mean, I have to think that Eevee, being DF plus IP, is really going to put on a good show here. The Devil's
Yep.
Regime, they're a solid team, no doubt about it, but they are definitely the underdogs here, and I'm expecting Eevee to pull out the victory. And we just want to say, if we're not predicting you guys to win, don't get mad, don't get pissed, prove us wrong, you know?
Yeah, we're not here to cause any drama. We're just here speaking our personal opinions and what we think the outcomes will be. But, like, comment, tip, donate, whatever you want. Let us know what you think, and we'll be sure to take your opinions and share them.
Absolutely. The next matchup here is Foam versus Six Star Generals.
This is going to be a good fight because you got, on one hand, you got six-star generals, the team that bragged about being the best, lost by the best, and went on a hiatus. And they've now since risen from the dead, came back, and they're signed up in this league. So they have a lot to prove. On the other hand, you have Fathers on a Mission, who are one of the biggest teams in the league, one of the biggest teams in any platform. They've grown, they have a reputation. So it really comes down to experience. Six Star has a little more competitive experience, I believe, but Fathers on a Mission have a lot of confident players, which
Yeah,
just you don't have to just be good to win. You need to work as a team. So it goes both ways.
we have a couple members actually on the Toxic Chat who also go both ways, from what I understand.
That's a good one. That's good.
All right,
No
so
names will be released here.
no, no name dropping. Foam, I would assume right now they're probably practicing right now. They're strategizing. I would think they're taking this very seriously. But Six Star Generals, I would think they absolutely want to really show that they are back in a big way, and I think they're going to just come out guns blazing and to prove that they belong among the elite teams once again, because that was always the perception about them, that they were an elite team. They got knocked down a few pegs, and I think they are here to prove that they are an elite team. So I expect them to really come out and win in a big way, but we will see. Next matchup is PT versus Wham.
Project Trojan, once again, you gotta remember, PT is PT. They've built a reputation on being the best. They talk the smack that says they're the best, and nobody's been able to stop them yet. So I'm excited to see We Are Mighty. Like I said earlier, before I knew who the matchup was, I pegged Wham at maybe making semifinals. But facing PT, they are going to have to bring their 100% A game, and they're going to have to then step it up a notch above 100% and really put it in to be able to beat PT.
Yeah, I mean, Wham got pretty much the toughest draw you can get, which is part of the fun. When we make the brackets, you could get lucky, you could go against maybe a weaker team, or you could get unlucky, and here you are round one facing PT. And I'm going to pick PT to win every round until they lose,
Yeah,
So, so I mean, they're going to be the favorites all the way through. It doesn't mean they can't lose, but they're definitely going to be the heavy favorites every single round of this tournament. And, first round is no exception. And we expect them to win in a big way. If Wham can make the match competitive, in my opinion, that's a win for them. So let's see how that breaks down.
right. Not only that, but you got to remember certain teams and certain players play more effectively in different atmospheres. If you got a map that's Argonne Forest and you got a bunch of players who are good with tankers and planes, if that's not effective for them. But if they get on a map like, our first map, Giant Shadow, that's a map that gives you a lot of open space. You got snipers, you got, tanks, you got planes, you got a lot different atmosphere than it is just regular gun game. So it really will come down to atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, tanks and planes play a big factor on Giant Shadow. And
Absolutely.
once you're inside that blimp, it's gonna just be all hell breaking loose. You got the infantry in the down blimp. You're gonna have tanks. rolling around it, getting any stragglers, and then you're gonna have planes dropping bombs in there or missiles or whatever have you. So it should be. I know a lot of people don't love that map, but it should really be some really great action.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no place to hide on Giant Shadow. No matter where you go, you can be spotted from some location somewhere. So, it's not a map where you can just, it's not, uh,
It's not a camping map, that's for sure.
right, it's not Fort DeVoe. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can't run into A flag and just sit there and sit in a corner and be protected. You got to watch 360 degrees around, and you got to pay attention to your surroundings. And I can't wait to see which players can step up and say, "I got what it takes to watch my back and my teammates."
yeah, it should be awesome. Next matchup, let's talk about Shepherds of Death versus Team Colombia.
This is going to be an interesting matchup because we don't have a history on either team. Team Colombia, if they hold that reputation of being a true team of the country, team of Colombia, then I'm excited to see what they have to offer. But again, both teams coming from South America, it's hit or miss. They can be a team that is going to end up coming in here and making a name for themselves, blowing everyone away, or they can both just fade away like mist in the wind.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
don't know.
one of these teams is going to win, and one of these teams is going to advance. And I think whoever advances here is going to really put the rest of the league on notice that we are here. We are a team to be reckoned with. I mean, if Team Colombia, let's say they come out and they win in impressive fashion, then all of a sudden the right side of the bracket gets a lot more interesting. We have another heavyweight involved, so let's see what happens.
Yep, I got to agree. I'm excited.
All right, next matchup: VIP versus N7.
VIP versus N7. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, VIP is your team, so I'm excited to see what you guys have to offer. I've played with you guys a few times. I know the possibilities and the opportunities that you guys have. And you're facing N7s. There's not, it's going to be interesting. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, the pressure's definitely on. You don't want to lose to a team that everyone says is just absolute garbage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that seems to be, what they get called on a daily basis. So, we're putting a good amount of pressure on ourselves, and we're going to see what happens. The one question
Right.
I have is, what the hell's with the N7 Delta Alliance thing? Because those are two names that really have nothing to do with each other.
Right? They're not related. There
They're
must
not.
be some like secret term.
I'm gonna be nice, and I'm just gonna move on. All right, and our last and final matchup is Tags versus RZ.
This is going to be an interesting fight because Tags is a team, like we said, that is a pub team. All we've ever seen them in is pub matches. And then we got RZ, who is, if I'm not mistaken, they jumped into the league at the last minute. It was kind of a lucky chance that we found them, and we don't have a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot of history on them. I don't really know who they are. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what both of these teams have to offer.
Yeah, I mean these were the last two teams to join the tournament. We have them facing off against each other, and they're both question marks in my book. So one of them is going to move forward, and we're going to learn a little more about them. And going into the next round, we'll have a better gauge on it. Which that
Yeah,
is, our final matchup, and so that's going to be the end of the podcast here. We don't want to run it too long, but this is something that we're going to do every week. We're going to do after every round for every tournament, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. It's just an opportunity for us to break down the teams, break down the matchups, and try to give more in-depth coverage. Because that's what Win or Die is all about, giving you, innovative stuff and things that are, other leagues don't offer.
exactly. I mean, win or die. This this is not a league that hands out participation trophies just because you lose. If you lose, you go home. So you got to bring your A game and, just see where it goes from there. I mean, it's single elimination for a reason. We don't want to spend months on end playing in one league. We want to play new teams and consecutive games every month, new leagues. So I'm excited. This is going to be a great opportunity. Every week we're going to be able to give you new information about the matchups and what has happened so far, as well as what's to come. So be sure to tune in.
Absolutely. And, Ride for Life, my co host here, is one of our streamers and he has his own channel. So why don't you go ahead and plug that right now?
Thank you, Mike. Go to facebook.com/rideforlife3. On there, you can hit that like button. Just watch all the streams for all of the league matches that I stream, as well as go and subscribe to the YouTube page, which is on the Facebook page as the link, so you can connect right through there and subscribe there.
And, we're planning on a bunch of different, cool things for this podcast. We're going to have different guests. We're going to have different, all different things we have planned. This is a little bit of the more serious team breakdown, but then, we can also do some podcasts intermittently that are a little more fun and touch on, a few different subjects. And that's that. So I'm going to let Ride for Life send us off, and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the next one.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, taking the time to listen to what we have to offer. And we can't wait to see you guys all this weekend for the league start, which is what time on Friday, Mike?
The first matchup is going to be, I believe it's at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I believe at 9 p.m. Friday night. So be sure to tune in. Go hit those like and sub buttons so that you be sure to catch all the action. And have a wonderful evening. Ride for Life signing out.
All right, so that went pretty good.